So imagine for a moment that you're a laptop or a tablet. Imagine you're your favorite electronic device. Okay? But you're not turned on. You're not powered up. You're not connected to the internet. Instead, you're being used as a tray table to carry drinks or hors d'oeuvres at a party. You've got a nice little towel that's draped over you, perhaps. Now, it's easy to imagine that tablet or that laptop would have a sense of pride, a sense of purpose at that role. After all, it's going to receive a lot of attention. It's going to be needed in specific times. It's going to be cared for, cleaned, dusted off regularly. You can imagine that a laptop would have a certain pride being the focus of attention like that. But imagine that laptop becomes turned on, becomes aware that there are features that it has that are not being used. So it develops this vague sense that there's something that was given to it by its creator, something in its design that is just not being accessed. It's not being utilized. It's only serving a very small portion of its potential. There must be something more to the laptop's existence than this life as a tray. Okay, so let's say a laptop has a 15-year lifespan. I've got a laptop that I bought in 2007 that still works. So that's 12 years old right now. So a 15-year lifespan, okay? During that 15-year lifespan, let's say just a few minutes, maybe 3 minutes, it's connected to the internet, and it's browsing, and it's accessing websites and videos. How is it going to feel? It realizes all these features that it has. How's it going to feel after that, when it's shut down and put back on the shelf and dusted off the next time and used as a tray? It's fully aware now of its abilities and features that were designed by its creator. There's a huge range of information out there. A huge range of potential for that product. A huge range of possibilities that go beyond serving drinks and hors d'oeuvres. Well, actually, this was my experience, and this is the analogy that I share with people when they talk to me, especially if I haven't seen them in a long time, if I haven't seen them since high school or college. Because I used to live as an atheist. I used to be very hostile towards Christianity. Not skeptical, I was hostile. I mocked Christianity, the Catholic Church specifically, in print. I actually published letters, columns in a local newspaper attacking the validity of the church. And so people are surprised that I've become a Catholic. And so I try to share with them this analogy to get them to understand a little bit of how it feels inside me to be who I am now. So in my previous life, I mocked Christianity because I thought that Christianity, my idea of Christianity is you go inside this building, you read from this card that they give you, these pre-printed words, and of course they're going to ask for money, so you give them money, and then they're going to guarantee you eternal life, and that's it. So it's a complete scam, a complete waste of time. That's what I believed. Okay, and I had a family member, a distant relative, that was much older than me, that raised me up believing that there's this division between churchianity, that is worship of the church, and Christianity, the worship of Christ. That Christ's message got buried by the church, okay, and the church was this arbitrary kind of institution that self-serving, it's just selling this product, this message. But in 1998, okay, I had this epiphany. I had this surgery, and when I woke up from the surgery in the recovery room, I realized that there was no one on earth that I could trust. I had to take care of myself to recover from this surgery. And I started thinking about, in the Bible, when it talks about the vineyard, how the withered branches are cut. And I felt like I'm one of those withered branches. I was 32 at the time. I had no one in my life that I could trust. I had no children, no marriage. I was worthless. I was a withered branch that was going to be cut. I had to make some kind of change. So I developed this vague idea that something was real out there. It was an epiphany. So I started going to all these different churches. And eventually, of course, I ended up in the Catholic Church. But unlike the other churches, in the Catholic Church, once I joined it, things began to happen. It was really amazing. I went from having no one I could trust and no family that would offer any kind of support in my life or interest in my life, to being surrounded in a short time by a host of people that I could trust without hesitation. And I suddenly realized within just a couple of years I ended up being married and accepted in this big family, and my whole life completely changed. It was unbelievable. So I felt like I was a salmon. And I thought about that a lot when I was an atheist, that I was a salmon in my life, swimming against this current, struggling so hard to get over this one obstacle, taking this huge amount of energy. And then suddenly I joined the Catholic Church and something spun me around. My orientation changed. And without hardly any effort, I just went rocketing down this river. And all this distance was carried. In the U.S., you grow up with this contempt for Christianity. On TV, they show you all these programs that are supposed to model life. Sitcoms, dramas, and none of them have any mention of church or faith or God. So it's a very subtle message. You go to the movies and there's nobody that goes to church. So you end up with this idea that Christianity is kind of like green beans at a big buffet dinner. So some people like green beans, it's okay. But you can live your life completely fine without green beans, okay? And then when you find out that God is real, it changes everything. One example, if you're not familiar with the U.S. culture, you can look up a movie called The Big Chill. And this is a profoundly empty and meaningless movie. It's about these friends that have this reunion because one of their friends has committed suicide. And so they all gather together for the funeral. And there's a lot of discussion in the movie. And there's a lot of drugs and alcohol being used and promiscuity, all virtues in the atheist secular state. And there's a good deal of mocking of Christianity. And you get these scenes where these people walk off into the woods and there's this misty kind of morning, and it's real beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful cinematography, really good sound work, good music, good soundtrack. But you just can't help but feel sorry for these people walking around staring at these beautiful surroundings and having this vague feeling that there's something out there, but they just don't know what it is. And that's what my life was like before I became a Christian. And it's really amazing, how much it fits that analogy. That if just for a moment those characters could tune in, just like the laptop to the internet, could tune in to the holy sacraments of the Holy Church, to perceive the reality of their lives, the reality of their soul, the reality of the saints, their ancestors, God, the reality of God that's not far. It changes everything when you connect to that. You don't feel stressed the same way. You don't worry about money the same way. It's really amazing. Just for a moment, it changes everything. We're supposed to be connected, just like that tray. We're not supposed to feel fulfilled just serving drinks. And if you can get connected just for a couple of minutes in an 80-year life, it'll change everything. Well, I hope you enjoyed my analogy. Take care.